Living with a family member who has obsessive compulsive disorder, OCD, can be both emotionally and mentally demanding. While we often focus on the patient's symptoms, the role of the family is no less important. Support, empathy, and the right knowledge can greatly affect the patient's progress. So, what do psychologists say to families of OCD patients? Here are tips that have been proven helpful, explained in a warm and easy-to-understand tone. Understanding OCD is one of the most crucial steps for any family member wanting to provide meaningful support. OCD is not merely about a preference for cleanliness or order. It is a serious mental health condition involving distressing intrusive thoughts and repetitive behaviors that the person feels compelled to perform. These obsessions and compulsions are not choices or habits, but are driven by anxiety and fear, often beyond the person's control. When families take the time to learn about the biology and psychology behind OCD, through books, workshops, or conversations with therapists, they become more equipped to respond with patience and compassion rather than frustration or criticism. This knowledge also helps them recognize the difference between enabling compulsions and supporting recovery. For example, understanding that a seemingly irrational behavior like checking the lock multiple times is a coping mechanism for anxiety makes it easier to respond with empathy instead of anger. Families that invest in understanding the condition lay a foundation of support that fosters safety and openness within the home. While it's natural to want to ease the distress of a loved one, especially when you see them panicking or crying, becoming involved in their compulsions often does more harm than good in the long term. This behavior is known as family accommodation. For example, repeatedly reassuring a family member that they didn't harm someone or helping them clean excessively might offer temporary relief. But it also reinforces the OCD cycle and delays recovery. Psychologists recommend gently resisting these requests and encouraging the individual to face their anxiety. It's a delicate balance between being supportive and setting healthy boundaries. Statements like, "I care about you and I know this is hard, but I want to help you learn to manage these fears without repeating the rituals," are more helpful than just giving in. By stepping back, family members send a strong message: "I love you, and I believe in your ability to cope with this." It's not about withholding help. It's about helping in the right way, one that encourages healing instead of maintaining the disorder. How we speak to someone with OCD can either help regulate their emotions or trigger more anxiety and shame. The key lies in practicing calm, empathetic, and non-judgmental communication. People with OCD often feel isolated or misunderstood, and harsh comments or criticism can deepen these feelings. Instead of reacting with impatience when compulsions take over, family members are encouraged to pause and respond with understanding. Phrases like, "I can see that you're really struggling right now. I'm here for you," open the door to emotional connection and reduce feelings of guilt. It's equally important to avoid language that blames or mocks, such as, "Why can't you just stop?" These kinds of statements imply that OCD is a matter of willpower rather than a clinical disorder. Communicating with love and reassurance helps maintain trust, which is essential for collaboration and progress in treatment. When family members become safe and emotionally available partners, the person with OCD is more likely to engage in therapy and challenge their fears. Recovery from OCD is rarely a straight line. There will be days filled with small victories and others marked by setbacks. For families, the goal should not be perfection, but steady progress. Celebrating even the smallest steps, like resisting a compulsion once or tolerating discomfort for a few more minutes than usual, can reinforce positive behavior and boost motivation. This approach shifts the family dynamic from one of monitoring symptoms to one of appreciating resilience and effort. Instead of saying, "You still washed your hands too much," try saying, "I noticed you waited longer today before washing." That's real progress. This kind of encouragement builds self-efficacy in the person with OCD. It reminds them that they're not defined by their worst days. Remember, perfection is not the goal, empowerment and gradual healing are. By highlighting growth over flawlessness, families create an environment that nurtures confidence rather than shame. Caring for someone with OCD can be emotionally draining. It's common for family members to feel stressed, confused, or even guilty about how they're responding. That's why self-care is not just important, it's essential. Psychologists strongly advise families to find their own sources of support, whether through therapy, peer groups, journaling, or simply taking time out to rest and recharge. This ensures that you remain emotionally resilient and avoid burnout. You can't be a stable support system if your own well-being is crumbling. By prioritizing self-care, family members model healthy emotional habits and create a more balanced atmosphere at home. Taking breaks, setting personal boundaries, and speaking openly about your own feelings also gives permission for everyone in the household to acknowledge their humanity. Support doesn't mean self-sacrifice. It means knowing when to step back, refill your emotional reserves, and come back with even greater empathy and clarity. Therapy doesn't just benefit the individual with OCD, it's also highly effective when the whole family is involved. Many treatment programs encourage family participation, especially in exposure and response prevention, ERP. Therapy, the gold standard for OCD. Families can join sessions to learn about triggers, reinforce treatment strategies at home, and set consistent boundaries. When everyone is aligned, recovery becomes more cohesive and effective. Rather than feeling isolated, the person with OCD begins to see their family as a team working toward healing. Therapists can guide the family on how to respond when compulsions arise and how to offer support without reinforcing the disorder. Don't hesitate to ask questions during sessions, share your concerns, and get personalized strategies. Being part of the therapeutic process doesn't mean taking over. It means learning how to be an informed ally in your loved one's journey. OCD can manifest in ways that are confusing or even hurtful to family members, such as avoidance of physical touch, repetitive questions, or seemingly irrational anger. But it's vital to remember, these are symptoms of the disorder, not expressions of personal dislike or disrespect. When you internalize the behavior, it creates unnecessary emotional distance and tension. Instead, view these actions as part of the illness, much like you would view the symptoms of a physical disease. For example, if your child refuses to touch a shared object due to contamination fears, it's not a rejection of you, it's a result of their anxiety. This mental shift can reduce hurt feelings and foster compassion. Recognizing the difference between the person and the disorder helps family members respond with patience rather than defensiveness, which, in turn, nurtures a more supportive and healing environment. Perhaps one of the hardest lessons for families to learn is that healing cannot be rushed. It's tempting to push the person toward recovery, especially when progress feels slow or inconsistent. However, pressuring them can backfire, leading to more anxiety, resistance, or shame. Psychologists emphasize the importance of being present without being forceful. It's more helpful to say, "I believe in your ability to heal, and I'll be here no matter how long it takes," than to express disappointment. Patience isn't about doing nothing. It's about allowing the process to unfold at a pace that's realistic and compassionate. Healing from OCD is deeply personal and often takes time, setbacks, and repeated efforts. Your consistent, gentle encouragement can be more powerful than any push toward perfection. Remember, growth may be invisible at first, but every act of understanding and support contributes to long-term healing. The home should be a place of stability and safety, especially for someone dealing with OCD. Psychologists suggest establishing consistent routines, clear expectations, and a calm emotional atmosphere. Sudden changes, chaos, or high stress levels can heighten OCD symptoms. Additionally, the physical environment can be optimized to support recovery. You might create designated spaces for relaxation or coping activities, like a cozy corner for deep breathing or journaling. Talk openly as a family about how to make the home more recovery-friendly. For example, if certain rituals involve the kitchen or bathroom, work together to find ways to reduce triggers without enabling compulsions. When everyone is committed to creating a nurturing space, it reinforces the message, you are not alone, and this home is a part of your healing journey. OCD doesn't just affect the individual, it touches every corner of family life. But with education, empathy, and consistent support, families can become a powerful force for healing. Each small act of understanding, each kind word, each decision to learn rather than react, contributes to an environment where recovery is not just possible, but sustainable. Don't underestimate the impact of your presence. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to be present, open, and willing to grow together. Healing isn't only found in therapy sessions, it also blossoms in the everyday moments shared between loved ones. You're part of the story now. And your love, when guided by knowledge and patience, can light the way forward. Disclaimer: this article is not a substitute for professional diagnosis or therapy. Always consult a licensed psychologist or psychiatrist for personal guidance.